Hi, scholars. I want to say really nice job with day one of your mock test. A few things that you guys did a really great job of is in most rooms, scholars were sitting up really tall so that the blood could circulate from their brain throughout their body. Another thing you guys did a really great job of is going back to the text to reference the text before answering the multiple choice. And then finally, I saw everyone doing a really good job of going back to look at their answers, clicking that question button at the top, going back to check their answers. Nice job with all of those things. One of the main things that I want to see you do a better job of on ELA day two is using your scrap paper. So the first thing you're going to do is fold your scrap paper in half, just like I have folded mine in half. Once your scrap paper is folded in half, on one side, you're going to write genre and thinking jobs. On the other side, you're going to write multiple choice, answer, and evidence. So one side, genre and thinking jobs, other side, multiple choice, answer, and evidence. On the back side, you're going to have two sides. You're going to write draft, open response, and then you're going to write draft, open response again. I'm going to use this note-taking sheet to help me as I am trying to capture my ideas on paper before I put them into the computer screen. Great readers and thinkers stop and draft their ideas before they submit them on the computer screen. I'm going to model how to do this. So first, I'm going to go back to the test you guys are taking today. Where is it on my computer? Screen share. Great. Here we go. So the first thing I notice is the text. And I know as a great reader is that I'm going to stop and write the genre down first. So on that side that has genre, I'm going to write what the genre actually is. I'm not going to tell you the genre because that would be cheating, but I'm going to write what the genre is. Then, as I am reading this text, I'm going to stop to make notes on the genre-based thinking job. So notice my paper just says notes. You're going to actually write notes. So if this is a fiction text, I'm going to write notes about character, motivation, problem solution, lesson learned. If this is nonfiction, I'm going to write notes on what the text is mostly about and the author's point of view. I'm going to make those notes on the side of my paper. So now that I have those notes, when I go to answer questions like the multiple choice questions on the side, I can go back and look at my notes to help me come up with my answer. Now, I got to my first question. What does the word quest mean as used in paragraph 4? Some of you remember this strategy from last year. I'm going to cover up the choices. I'm not going to look at the choices that the test taker is giving me because they're trying to trick me. I'm going to first think of my own answer and I'm going to think of my own evidence first. So I'm going to go ahead and write number one. Let me think about the question. What does the word quest mean? Okay, I think the word quest means, I'm going to write it down on my paper. The word quest means blank. Then I'm going to go back to the text and find it. So I know this was in paragraph 4. It talks about a quest to find her perfect word for da 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 da. Finding the word means besides submitting for the have plan. Okay, I think I found my evidence. So I'm gonna go ahead and write my evidence down on my paper too. Now I have my evidence written down and I have my claim written down as well. Now I'm going to go back to the multiple choice questions. And I'm going to use process of elimination to eliminate the ones that don't match what I wrote down. So I'm going to eliminate that one, that one, that one, that one. These are not the correct elimination, scholars, so don't just copy what I wrote. Notice how when I eliminate, it draws a line through each that I eliminated. Because I eliminated A, B, and C, I know that the answer must be D. Then I check it and then I move on to the next question. That is how I'm going to use my paper to help me with multiple choice questions. Now, what about open response questions, Mr. Rogers? How can you use your paper to help you with open response questions? Well, after I read the question and I know what the question is asking me, I'm going to go ahead and draft my answer on my paper including my two details, my two pieces of evidence. I know if I don't do those two details, I'm not going to get all of the points. So I'm going to make sure I do it before I press submit. So let me go ahead and write down my answer, starting with my sentence starter. The evidence the author gives supports the claim by. I'm gonna go ahead and write all of that down. Now I'm gonna go back to my text and find my EV1 and my EV2. I know I can't mark the text EV1 and EV2, but I can highlight it. So if I think that this is a good piece of evidence, I'm gonna go ahead and use my highlighter. If I also think this is a good piece of evidence, I'm gonna go ahead and use my highlighter. Now I've already got my evidence and I've got my claim. Now I'm ready to write it in the box. Scholars, I have just modeled for you how to use your note-taking sheet more effectively. The scholars that I saw today using their note-taking sheets more effectively were also answering the questions right. Remember, fold your paper in half. Write on the top one side, genre and thinking jobs, and write your notes for the genre and thinking jobs. On the other side, multiple choice answer and evidence, and write your multiple choice answer and evidence. On the back side, you're going to use both sides to draft your open responses. If you run out of space on your paper, it is okay to raise your hand to ask for more paper. I'm going to be checking to see on day 2 who is using their note-taking sheet well for a special prize. Good luck, scholars. Stay focused, keep your eyes on your own computer, and do your very best. I know you can do this.